Good evening, good evening, good evening. How is everyone doing? I am excited tonight. I was thinking about going to bed early, but I said, let me come and do a video. Um, I'm going to talk about 5 reasons why people please. And you're hearing this from a person who used to be, I'm a recovering people pleaser, okay? Believe it or not, I'm recovering. So I want to talk to you about 5 reasons why people do it. And there could be more, but these are just 5 that I notice, that I've experienced and that I realized. And you may be a people pleaser and you may not have experienced all of these, or all of these may not be relevant to you or relatable to you, but you fit one of the categories if you're a people pleaser, right? And the main one, the first reason why we people please is because of fear of rejection. Okay, that was my number one. That was my issue before I started doing the work on myself. I was like, fear of rejection. I didn't want anybody to not like me, right? To not like me. I wanted to please people. I wanted to please family. I didn't want anybody to reject me. Um, and the reason we do that is, and I'm looking here, I have some notes. And the reason we do this is because we worry that saying no or standing firm will cause others to walk away. So you sacrifice your own needs to keep acceptance, right? To stay, to remain in the group or to remain in the loop. And if you don't set healthy boundaries, people will use you. They don't care how you feel. So that's something you have to try to get through and overcome and see why, you do it. But that's the number one reason why people do it, right? Fear of rejection. Number two reason why people please is because the desire for approval. Like if you um were not affirmed, or um you didn't have a healthy sense of like affirmations, or people telling you did something well, um you desire approval. So you'll do things that you think people will say you're doing a good job, or look at this person, right? And the reason some people do it is because their self-worth is tied into how others see them, right? So they chase validation, compliments, and recognition, right? That's why you see people who really don't want to do certain things will go overboard just to please someone else or to receive their validation. They just have a desire for approval. The number 3 reason why people please is to avoid conflict. A lot of people don't like conflict. They don't like confrontation. I did that for years. I did that for a long time. Okay, to avoid conflict, to keep the peace. I kept the peace all while starting a war within myself. Okay, when you keep the peace and you don't speak up and you are afraid to stand up for yourself, or that thing is going to turn internally. It's going to turn on you because you're keeping the peace. You're quiet when you should be speaking up, but you're so concerned about losing people. You're so concerned about what others are going to think of you, and you don't have to do it in like a mean or you know um nasty way, but you can confront issues. You can confront people. Okay, and I know it's probably challenging, but the longer you try to keep the peace, oh, you're going to start causing a war within yourself. You're going to start being unhappy. You're going to lose peace. You're going to lose sleep. You're going to be unhappy. You're going to, while everybody else is moving on with life, and you have those issues within yourself that you're trying to avoid, you're trying not to confront people, you're trying not to cause conflict. Conflict is healthy, right? It's a healthy thing to have because people are not mind readers, right? So it's good to confront people so they know that, listen, I don't like when you do this, or I don't like when you do that, or I don't feel good. Like, you have to speak up, right? You have to be fair. You have to speak up. But that's the third reason people avoid conflict, to keep peace, right? You got to say something. You got to say something. I did that for you. I was silent regarding the situation for years because I was trying to people please. I didn't want a certain person upset with me. All while I was over there mad, steamy hot, ears, smoke coming out of my ears. I'm so frustrated and just mad and upset because I'm trying to keep peace. I'm trying not to cause, conflict. No, I said I'm not doing that anymore. I'm never doing that anymore. We're gonna talk about this thing. Okay, we're gonna discuss this issue. Let's resolve it. And it's not easy because we already know certain people will get upset. We already know that certain people will cut you off, they will get upset. And that's why you can't be afraid of rejection, because I would rather be at peace with myself than be so focused on you getting upset with me because something you're doing, right? Because something you are doing to make me feel bad or I don't like. I rather be at peace with myself knowing that I confronted you than to try to keep peace, avoid conflict, and I'm sitting over there unhappy. And I have to pretend that everything is okay when everything is not okay. Mm-mm. I would rather go ahead and let's talk about this. Let me tell you, listen, I don't like when you do this. I don't like when you say that. I don't think that's funny. Or please don't say that to me. Or please don't do that. Or don't do that to, whatever. Whatever the situation is, you have to talk about it. You can't avoid it. Right. And the fourth reason why people please is past experiences, most likely childhood. If you have any childhood patterns, um, like being praised only when doing something right, or even not being praised at all when you were a child, that can have an effect on how you deal with others. You tend to want to please others because you're looking for something. You're looking for like that validation from that you did not receive, or um, it's all tied into your childhood. Like you didn't get praised enough, or you got praised too much. So that's all performance. You know how to perform to try to get what it is you're looking for. You're trying to get a result because that's how it was in your childhood. You only got praised for when you did certain things, right? Um, that's number four, past experiences. Number five is no, number five is low self-esteem. When someone doesn't see their own value, they look to others for their worth. Believing pleasing is the only way to be accepted. When you have low self-esteem, you look for your value in other people. You're looking for someone to affirm you and tell you, you're doing a good job, to validate you, right? And that's something that you will have to work through, especially if you have that issue from childhood or you in a abusive relationship, right? And if you're in an abusive relationship, you will have to work through that because you're always looking for that person to validate you. You're always looking for other people to see you in a certain way, right? Your self esteem is low. You don't feel you have any value. You feel like your value is in what other people think of you, and what is what is you think your value is in what people think of you and how they see you, or the things that you're doing, like the outer things that you're doing, you know, and your self-worth should be in Christ and Christ alone. You should be complete within yourself and confident and bold within who you are. And it takes time because a lot of us have experienced some type of abuse, whether it's parental abuse, whether it's childhood abuse, whether it's some type of abuse, right? And you have to work through that. So let me go back over the 5 reasons why people please. Number 1, fear of rejection. Number 2, desire for approval. Number 3, they people please because they want to avoid conflict, avoiding conflict. Number 4, past experiences, past childhood experiences. Number 5, low self-esteem. Okay, those are 5 reasons why people please. I hope these reasons and tips and this information helped you to try to understand if you people please or you know someone who's always people pleasing. These 5 reasons probably relate to them in some way, and it's just something they just will have to deal with. I know because I've been there, done that, and I had to overcome it. I was a what I used to always say. I was a what kind of people please? I used to always call myself an experienced one. It was a word I used to call. It was a term I used to use when it relates to people pleasing. But I used to be one. I was always so concerned about keeping family happy. I, kept quiet about things. I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want people to stop talking to me. Already knowing folks didn't like me anyway. So I'm gonna say what I gotta say. Either you're gonna like me if I say it or like me if I don't. I don't care. So, people will try to keep you silent when when you're trying to speak about things that are truthful or things to move people forward, right? When you're trying to progress, especially in families. Families don't like for you to touch on certain things. They want you to just sit there like Ray Charles, and just not see anything, right? I didn't mean to use them as an example, but you know, they want you to be blind about things, right? And just ignore it and let that stuff fester down through the bloodline. That's why you got families that have this generational beef and generational hate and generational these generational issues that are not resolved because it trickles down. No one wants to conversate about anything, and it just trickles down from generation to generation, and no one wants to talk about it. Just generational family beef and jealousy and hate because they don't want to deal with their own issues, right? And I'm trying to break that. I don't want that to be a part of my children's I don't want that to be a part of my bloodline. I really don't. And it is hard because you can see some of that stuff festering. Even if you're trying to avoid it, it's still generational and it's still bloodline. So you have to know how to fight that spiritually. You got to know how to cancel all that stuff out spiritually. Because some things you think you're trying to avoid, and if you don't know how to say the right prayers and you don't know to do the right fasting and all that, that stuff will still trickle down in the bloodline, right? It'll still trickle down in the bloodline. And you think you're doing all you can to make sure your kids don't experience stuff. And you don't say the right prayers and you don't fast, you don't do this kind, come out by prayer and fasting. If you don't do that, that stuff gonna jump right on in them kids. And you be like, I didn't raise them like that. I didn't do them this way. I didn't. No, it's gonna jump right on in there. So you got to know how to pray, cancel stuff out, ask God to show you how to deal with it because it is hard, right? It is challenging, but I'd rather try than to sit there and lay down and not do anything and have an excuse for not to do, for not doing anything than to just sit and let it happen. No, I'm gonna do something. Okay. I'm doing something. So, but I hope you all enjoyed the 5 reasons why people please from a recovering, okay, people pleaser. I was a people pleaser, just afraid of rejection, afraid of people not liking me, just afraid. Okay. And I had to overcome that. And the best way to overcome that is to deal with yourself. And I have a free guide that I'm going to post to on in my comments here. I have a free guide that you can access that will start you on your way. Okay, these are questions that I asked myself when I started my journey of healing and just overcoming being a, people pleaser, trying to be there and do everything for everyone out of that spirit of just people pleasing instead of doing it out of, genuine concern, like doing it because I really want to do it or because I have the time to do it, not because I'm trying to get people to like me or accept me. Okay? Because I don't have that issue anymore. So I'll put the free guide here inside of the comments after I end this video. But until then, I'll come and talk to you all later. Okay? Have a good evening.